Hello, Craving English. My name is Lucero. I am 29 years old and I come from a beautiful country called South Africa in a city called Johannesburg. I have 5 years of teaching as an ESL teacher. I have only taught kids as well as adults. I have a 120 TEFL certificate as well as a 4 years bachelor's degree in clothing management. My favorite thing about being a teacher is that I get to interact with students all around the world, countries I've never been to, countries I look to travel to, and countries I've always seen on TV, and I'm always wondering, how is this country? So I think that is the most beautiful, learning about their cultures as well as just learning about themselves as individuals. Most challenging thing would be having to teach a learner that is a beginner, because I can see the frustration on the student's face as kind of difficult for them to understand me as well as understand some of the words. So a person or I myself need to be quite slow with them, and sometimes I can be as slow as I can, but the frustration of them just wanting to know and understand these words, you just see it on their face. I think a challenging thing about being a teacher is that sometimes I get to meet students where I feel like I'm not fulfilling or I'm not really doing my best. I think for me that is a challenging, as well as sometimes coming up with material. Some students kind of have a grasp or an understanding of grammar language, therefore they do not want to learn grammar language but rather have conversational English. So I always have to come up with some material to keep them, active, to keep them entertained, to keep them focused in the classroom as well. Then what do I think is challenging about learning a new language? It's number one, learning, of course. Number two, speaking. Number three, practicing. Those are the three things that I'm always preaching about in my classroom, that I know how difficult it is, but having to grasp the words, it's kind of difficult, especially as an adult. It's much easier with kids because kids kind of grasp it much easier, and they kind of watch all these videos on YouTube. So with an adult has to kind of use that 45 minutes in their classroom, and that is the only 45 minutes they use. And then you can get that some of them don't speak at their workplaces, don't speak at home, nor do they speak within their environment. So it becomes a little bit difficult for them to learn the language. And then I don't think I've made a mistake in terms of my learners. The only mistake I think I would have made is maybe teaching the student something that we've already went through, or they have went through with another teacher, and I've not been notified that, hey, I've actually done this. They've only told me, later on or halfway through the lesson that, teacher, I've actually done this. Or a student that really is scared to kind of tell me that this is something, I want to learn this material and not the material that you have. For me, that is the only mistake I think I have made. Then for me, error correction is very important. Cannot be a teacher if I cannot correct you, and I cannot let you move on if I cannot correct you, especially when it comes to pronunciation, especially when it comes to sentence construction, as well as grammar. So if I cannot correct you in those things, what's the point of you learning this language? What's the point of you being in my classroom? The whole purpose of you learning is for you to accept that I can correct you. So that is what I think about error correction in my classroom. And then when it comes to a student that is nervous and talkative, I always try to, be calm. So always be calm, as well as just try and break their shell. Find out their likes, their dislikes, talk about a little bit about their background, their country maybe. If I feel that the lesson is just too straightforward, I like to just zone out and let's speak about each other's countries. Let's talk about our workplaces. I feel like that is important. Then what I think about company culture. Company culture is very important in terms of that I get to, what's the word? For me to be able to teach, I need to know the policies of the company that I am working for. So if the policies of the companies does not align with my teaching, I mean, I can't really move forward per se. I can't really put in the work that I'm meant to do. Company policies is important in terms of teamwork, in terms of me being hard work, in terms of dedication. So that is what I think about company policy. Then the last one is, what do I need to know more about Craving English? I just think for me it's more of knowing what does Craving English expect from me as a teacher, and in terms of working schedule, how many students will I be involved with, more of, is this, how long is my contract for. Other than that, I think everything's quite clear, as I have been working with numerous companies. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.